How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News correspondent for Real America's Voice News and the Wendy Bell Radio Network. We are live from the city of Esquimulas in Guatemala. Señores, ¿qué tal? Muy buenas, pues buenas tardes. En vivo en Instagram en español, en Facebook, en YouTube es en inglés. I'm live in Instagram in Spanish. I will be live in YouTube in English. But in particular, we'll be doing this bilingual. Lo voy a estar haciendo bilingüe esto. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. ¿Cómo están todos? Bienvenidos todos. Estamos en vivo desde el pueblo de Esquimulas en Guatemala. We are live from the town of Esquimulas. We were just at the border. Estábamos hace unos momentos en la frontera de Aguacaliente con Honduras. We were just at the border of Aguacaliente with Honduras, where we are seeing a migration, continuous migration from people from Nicaragua, donde estamos viendo a una continua migración de los países de Centroamérica. We were asking some of the migrants, what do they think about the migration that is being stopped from Venezuelan people? Le estamos preguntando a los migrantes qué opinan acerca de la migración que está siendo detenida de migrantes venezolanos. And a lot of the migrants that they're from Nicaragua and from all parts of Central America, they're saying that this is a really hurtful migration. That the policies of Joe Biden, why all of a sudden they change, and that, you know, that it's inhuman. That's what they're saying, that it's inhuman. Están diciendo que prácticamente esto de la migración que están en contra de los varios diferentes migrantes, diferentes entidades que dicen que esta migración que están pues prácticamente afectando a la migración venezolana, que se les hace muy inhumana, que se les hace muy injusta, y que de alguna manera deberían de haber sido más humanos. This is what they're saying, the migrants from other entities, migrants from Central America and all the entities from South America, they're saying that this Biden policy, it is really inhuman, and basically that is unjustful, that why they're doing it right now, why they're implementing right now, when it was all the time that it was open. Governments of Guatemala, they were extremely upset. Also the governments of Honduras, they're extremely upset with the Biden administration. El gobierno de Guatemala y el gobierno de Honduras están bastante molestos con la administración de Joe Biden. And why am I walking over here? First and foremost, why am I walking over here? Because a lot of the people that they're concentrated right here, as you see, they're migrants. A lot of the people, they're sleeping on the streets. You see people right here sleeping on the streets on the downtown of Esquimulas. But the Biden administration, what I was saying, they are really they're really upset. The governments of Honduras and the governments of Guatemala, they're extremely upset of the Biden administration, because they're saying that their policies, one day it is open and one day it is closed. So what types of games they're playing? What are they playing? So that is the number one thing that they're basically saying, you know, we're doing your dirty work. Why are we supposed to be doing your dirty work? And when it comes to that, that is in particular, you know, the response of some of the officials, extra officials. You know, this was given to us, you know, off the record, for the people that they're watching right now on YouTube, and the people that they're watching right now on Instagram. Right there. Let me see right there. Right there. Nano, ¿me ayudas nomás a detener la cámara para hablar un poquito? There we go. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Voice News and the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Thank you so much. Behind me, you will see I'm in downtown Esquimulas, that there's a lot of migration. Here is the migration where it concentrates when they're coming in from Honduras. Esquimulas is the first town coming in from Honduras. We were just right there in the border with Honduras and Guatemala, which means that we walked into Honduras and we were seeing how the Honduras government and the Guatemala government are working hand in hand to not contain, but to regulate that migration. A lot of these migrants are coming in regulated. They're coming in with their document, they're coming in with their passport, and they want to do the things correctly. We saw that in particular, hold on 1 minute. Adaís Cázares, si me estás viendo en Instagram, no te me vayas. Ahorita que termine la transmisión, por favor, te voy a contactar para hacer el enlace. Tengo compatriotas tuyos aquí que quieren hablar contigo de la migración en España. Un placer saludarte, Adaís, periodista del Freedom Post. Me dirijo hacia ti porque creo que acabas de reunirte. Déjame traducir nada más. So, as I was saying, the mass migration that is coming in from the countries of Honduras to Guatemala, it is continuous. And we're talking about that they're coming in not as they come in when it comes in Mexico, not as they form caravans massively. No, they come in quantities as 10, 15 family units and all this kind of little groups. But as they are coming in, the problem right here is the opinion of the authorities. You guys will be surprised of the opinion of the Guatemala officials and also the Honduras officials that they're sick and tired of the Biden border policies. They're saying one day you're saying that it's open and the other day you're saying that it's closed. One day you're saying that they're going to help them, and the other day you're saying that you're not. What are we playing? The ones that we pay the consequences is us. The ones that we have to do later on, the documentation, the whole paperwork, the ones that we are signalized as we are doing a bad job, the ones that we are signalized around the world that we're not containing the migration, the ones that we are signalized as xenophobic, as, you know, racist, are our government. When our government, we're supposed to be brothers with the other governments of Central America and South America. That is the number one issue that they are saying. What kind of administration is this in the United States that we understand, as one migrant right here behind me was saying, what is your thoughts on this? These are migrants from Venezuela, by the way. What are your thoughts on this mass migration of Venezuela that is now being stopped by the Biden administration? And he says in particular, we understand that, you know, because it got out of hand, the migration of Venezuelans, it got out of hand, that it complicated everything for all of us. And now that it complicated things for all of us, we understand that they want to regulate the migration. But what happens to the ones that we were in the middle of all this process? What are we going to do? How are we going to get there when we already established and we already started our mass migration or our migration process before? This is the fault, and I don't like to signalize, but this is the fault of open border policies. It's not an administration, people. It is an open border policy. This is what open borders will do. And we came down here to bring you guys reality and truth of the news. Later on today, I will be live from the border of Aguacaliente. That is the border between Honduras and Guatemala, that I think that is extremely important for you guys to see how they're entering, how the National Guard of Guatemala, it is working hand in hand with the government of Honduras and trying to contain this mass migration. And it is a domino effect. Now, you can actually see that it's a domino effect. Why? Because Joe Biden has said, you know what, I'm going to contain it. So now Mexico is trying to do something. Then later on, Guatemala is trying to do something. Then later on, you know, Honduras is trying to do something. So we are in the hands of whatever the United States administration, of current administration, says. There's no friendly relationship. There's no let us create a friendly relationship with your government. It is just, I close it and you take care of it. And this is the way the Biden administration has created this animosity between governments, that now, you know, the government of Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador have to work together to create a plan. So this plan will be for a safe pathway and also to secure the migrants from not being also abused, from travel advisors, as you just heard. A lot of them, they are being left out. They are being, you know, behind in the Darien Gap. And ultimately, not only that, you know, significantly, a lot of people have been abused, as you just heard an experience from one of the migrants. He's saying, saw a horrible experience, a woman carrying a child on a so-called, you know, a thing that you can just put the child on the back like a backpack. They crossed the river and the river took the child and the woman away. This is so sad to see this collateral damage. This collateral damage that the Biden open border policy said is causing. It is horrible. It is horrible, the collateral damage that the Biden administration has caused. And this is not only just, you know, this administration, it is all the governments that they are for open borders, the globalists, the United Nations, that you don't see the United Nations right here, where you are going to see all downtown Esquimulas, that is the first city of that connects to to Honduras, the two borders between these two countries. It is full and packed with migrants. You don't see the United Nations over here. You don't see non-governmental organizations, these ones that they take advantage and they profit in the northern borders with the United States of America. You don't see this kind of organizations close to the migrants right here, because they are in need right here. They need food, they need a place to stay, or they need an explanation, or they need an education of how to migrate correctly from one country to another. So We are going to bring some really good video later on in the afternoon. Be sure to be attentive to your live feeds, and please consider your comments in the live feed to be respectful. I understand that there's a lot of confusion right now, but try to be respectful and understanding. And if you're not going to be respectful and understanding, maintain the comment for yourself. It's not blocking freedom of speech, it's just being respectful. So thank you so much. We are going to continue with interviews right here. Little by little, we're going to continue with interviews with every single one of you, so you guys can understand how are we going to bring this about, and the topics of the mass migration between the borders of Honduras and the borders of Guatemala. This